Welcome back to the channel, guys. Last week we mentioned that we'd be doing some more rehousing, and that's what we're going to get on with today. Last week we said we were going to do some rehousing, and there are loads of rehousings I've got to do. So after the Salma Pierce adventure, I thought we'd carry on and do a Hystercrates Gigas, which has recently molted, has fed since it's molted, but needs to come out, needs to move into a bigger environment so it can stretch its legs a little bit. At the moment it's in a Tesco's clear pot, which I really like because they're stackable, they've got nice deep lids, they're good for keeping the humidity, but it does need some more room, so I'm going to be putting it into a slightly bigger setup. It's not a very quick grower, it's quite a slow grower, so it probably could do for a couple of molts in this new setup that I'm going to put it into, depending on how it goes. And what we're going to do is we're going to use some of the old soil, put a little sort of bit of cork bark underneath so it has an area when it digs down that won't collapse if the substrate dries out a little bit too much. But we do want to try and keep this one quite humid, and the substrate like not damp but sticky, tacky, so it holds its shape. So we're going to be doing that, and then after that we've got a Cyriopagopus lividus, the Cobalt blue. We're going to be doing that one. That one's going to be interesting. It's a bit of a feisty speed demon. I think last time I rehoused it, it took me about 4 hours to get it into its new setup. It's calmed down a little bit since it's been in its new home and it's made some new webbing and stuff like that, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm not sure what's going to happen with that one. Anyway, let's get over to Rehouse Central and get moving some spiders, shall we? Okay, here's the Gigas. Hystercrates gigas, otherwise known as the Cameroon red baboon. Have a reputation, the Gigas. I've never found them to be too much of a problem. Again, with this one, what we can do, they like to burrow. So I've got some soil in here already, but what my plan is to mix this soil with the soil that they've got in here already. Because it's got the webbing, we can make some structures in here. The cork bark is more so that I can build up an area that if when it decides to move all the soil above, that it'll have a walkway underneath, that it's not going to sort of just collapse on itself all the time. So I'm not sure how we're going to do this yet, but I'm going to break up a couple of these bits and have these buried underneath, sort of like a little bit of a structure so it has somewhere to go. They just like tunnels basically. So we'll take the lid off, we'll catch this one up, and then what we'll do is we'll set up this soil into there, and then we'll come back and we'll move the spider. So let's first off start by grabbing this spider out of here. Recently molted, not too feisty. They do have a tendency, they can bolt, but obviously this spider's pretty good and not too bad at the moment, as we can see. They hold their size well, the Gigas. Lovely looking spiders. Right, let's try and see what the temperament of this one is like today, shall we? See if it's gonna... You okay there? You can turn around, but you're not being super fast, are you? The carapace on this is just lovely. I love that, just the contrast between the dark carapace and the light bits, that basically where its legs connect to its body. You're coming out to have a... You're going to have a little wander, are you? Okay, well maybe what we'll do then is we'll get a catch cup ready. See if you'll ever wander straight into this catch cup or not. Come on in. Let's go. Want to go into the catch cup? What are you doing? Debating whether it wants to leave it set up or not. Right, let's get you in this. Let's get you in this setup, shall we? Come in. Let's put that down there. See if we can entice you across. Come on. That way. That way. Up, up, up. Across there. Awesome. Where are you going to go in? Stay. Come on. Come on. Here we go. Let's go. Back, back, back. Back, back, back. Back, back, back. Right, stay there. Just put the lid on you for a moment. Now we can get this moved across. This has got a nice bit of moisture into it, so putting this in here will be nice. I'm just going to tip some of this in here. We don't want all of it. We'll see how much soil we've got in here, mix this up. Nice bit of humidity in their soil. I like that. You know, these are the ones that have been seen. There's video footage of them catching fish, so probably going to need a little bit more soil than that. I know this other one's got a bit of vermiculite mixed in, so holds its humidity nicely. Give it a good mix up. And then what we're going to do, as I said, we're going to put all the soil to one side. We're going to come in with our cork bark piece, but we're going to build it so that it can have like a structure, so if it decides to dig, which it will do, that this cork bark doesn't collapse down on itself, because invariably we'll end up with this everywhere underneath, and then we've got like this structural area for it to build under and dig into. Get some soil down behind it. The idea is this won't collapse, so when it digs all around everywhere, it's got like an area to go into. And it probably won't even use it. Most of the spiders that you do this sort of thing with, they end up just making their own burrows elsewhere in the setup. Very rarely will they do what you want them to do or have intended them to do. Sometimes they will, but most of the time, you know, their own brains, whatever they're using. Let's just get this angled up a little bit. Then we'll do, give it its water bowl, rinse over, water bowl down the corner. That water bowl will probably disappear. Then lastly, just some bits for it to use for building blocks and stuff. We'll get some leaf litter in there. Like I said before, leaf litter is good for holding humidity, and these spiders like their humidity. So, right, I think that looks okay. We've got like relatively deep structure. It's deeper in certain parts than others. So he's got, well, I'll keep going with the camera, right near the top on one part, round the back, very, very deep round there, and then at the front. How long this spider does in this enclosure, who's going to know? I've had spiders, I mean this one's, it's not growing at a super fast rate, so we will see, but hopefully it will be in here for a while. Let's let them out. See if they want to come out. See if they want to come out and have a play in their new setup. Right. Use the grass on this one because what basically it's going to be just tickling it down. Hopefully it will come down nice and gently. Come on in. Straight in to its new home. And probably straight back out again in a second. And yeah, he's got plenty of room in there. A couple of molts at least, I would think. It's quite an active spider, this one. I must say, as far as colours go and stuff like that, yeah, okay, not everyone's cup of tea, but it's, you know, I like the spider. It's a beautiful spider to have. Always good feeding response, and yeah, Gigas. What can we say? Anyway, right, that one's in this new setup, so let's put the lid on, stop him running around, and then we'll get on with the next rehouse. I don't mind admitting, this one makes me a little bit nervous. It's just fast. It's just really, really fast. This is the lividus, the Cyriopagopus lividus, the cobalt blue. Beautiful looking spider when you see it. This one's only a baby sling at the moment, and it is super fast. At the moment it's in a 120. It needs to come out of here and move into a slightly bigger setup. But I'm going for a setup that it can stay in for a while. It's still quite a small spider, it's like this big. But I want to rehouse it as few times as possible, but still be able to see it and give it food. We've set this one up here like this. It's relatively deep substrate. It's about halfway deep on the enclosure. But the reason that you only fill them up this way is because what it'll do is as it digs its tunnels, it lifts the dirt up, so you end up with the dirt all the way up near the top. As you can see, which what it's done with this one, all the dirt is come up from the bottom and is all now filling up the top of the enclosure. I've rehoused this already before, didn't film it because I wanted to see how quick it was, and when it got out of its vial and into this, I had to put a lid on this box because it was running around like a madman, and I think it took me about 4 hours 4 hours to get this thing into this enclosure. So rehousing it as few times as possible. I know as they get bigger they get slightly more predictable, but it's still a fast spider. So just for a comparison of lid sizes, this is the 120 550, a lot bigger setup, and as you can see from here, it's got about 1.5 inches extra depth on this enclosure, maybe an inch. But yeah, it should be okay in that one for a long time. It's like I say, it's still only a tiny sling. I'm not sure what we're going to see on video here, to be honest with you, apart from maybe me screaming. But we will hopefully avoid that and hopefully get it rehoused nice and calmly. So let's have a look, shall we, and see what we've got going on without me getting in the way too much. I know I said it's super fast. What I can see is it's not out the top at the moment. Oh yes, it is. Spider's there, just there. So hopefully, if it's not moving too much, we should be able to just angle this down into this enclosure and get it to go in there. Maybe put a lid over something like that, so as it shoots in here, it stops when it hits this lid. We will see, we will see. Again, my hands might be in the way for this one, so I'm not sure how entertaining this is going to be for you guys, but hopefully it'll be clear. I'll try and get some other footage of this with the other camera and we can see what it looks like for now. They make these like towers just in the middle of all the substrate and the webbing. So as you can see, it's like made like a little circuit for itself. So it's facing this way at the moment. So that's the way we're going to move it across and hopefully simply into its new setup. So we'll swap these round and we'll get this turned that way. So hopefully it dives into the undergrowth of this new one. Don't want the lid coming off that too much. We will see what happens. Paintbrush, tongs, and let's just see which way we can get it to go. Wow, that is plain stubborn. That's surprising, to be fair. That is surprising. I'm going to turn this way so I can get a little bit of a better angle with the enclosure. I have to move that lid. Let's turn it this way. Right, stick, Come on. Doesn't want to leave its web. Come on. Into its new setup like this. Hopefully. Without too much of a reaction. Go on, little one. Come on. Come on. It's being extremely calm, which is a good thing for me really. Just want to get him down off of this piece. Come on. Trying to maintain contact but without sort of forcing it too much. Come on. I know you want to stay on your webbing, little dude, but I want you to go into your new home. There we go. Right, let's get you off there. Perfect. Well, that hopefully was a lot more simple brilliant. Come here, lid. That was a lot more simple than I thought it would be. The spider, let's move this camera. The spider's now just down its new setup. As you can see, it's got loads of grey room, but this is like a nice little setup for it. I'm actually surprised at how calm that was, to be honest with you. I was bricking it a little bit. That is the Cobalt Blue. Hopefully in a home for quite some time in there by the looks of things. Okay, and that one's done, I think. That was the rehousing. What do you think? I know we've only got 2 of them done today. The Hystercrates gigas, the Cameroon red baboon, or sometimes known as the rusty baboon, depending on where you sort of get your information from. Really pleased. Beautiful spider. The parts around the edge of the carapace, around the coxa, and the parts that fits to the legs, absolutely stunning contrast between that real dark leathery brown and like a cream colour. Really nice spider. And surprisingly, although it wouldn't go into the catch cup, surprisingly cooperative with its move. Pretty calm, just wanted to plod around, so that's good. At least we haven't got a bolter there. The big female Gigas I've got, she's a different kettle of fish. She's an absolute beast. So the other one, lividus, pleasantly surprised. That could have gone very different. That spider didn't want to move very much. They have got some speed, so that rehousing is stark contrast to the last one I did, so I'm pretty pleased with that. Anyway, the Hattie, like I said, will follow on next week, so we'll get on with that one, and hopefully we'll have something else to rehouse as well at the same time. I'm thinking possibly the versicolor, or we may be moving some curly hairs. We've got some curly hairs in some pots that they do need to come out of. There's a few of them to move. I think we've got 8 to move, but we will see. Anyway, if you did enjoy today's video, guys, please give it a like. If you're not subscribed, please consider doing so. Leave a comment. Let me know on anything you want to see happen on the channel. If you've got any questions, things you'd like to see more of, things you want to see less of, unless it's me, etc, etc, anything at all, just let me know. Just a quick update though, it is now in the 50s in days count on Avic's sack, and Mum's still holding on to the sack, so I'm hoping that that's a good sign, and I'm hoping that she it opens up very, very soon, but it's getting close. We're leaving it in there, we're going to see what happens. Anyway guys, that's it from me today. I'll catch up with you next week. Cheers.